Well, I wanted to ask you just because I do feel like there's when it comes to the Armenian community, I want some education on what's going on right now. I know there's there's like a war going on.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce the name of the other.
Azerbaijan, yeah.
Yeah. Can you kind of just educate people what's going on there? Because I actually posted something on Instagram.
Which we appreciate.
So when I got Jack last week, the witness was this little Armenian kid at Wingstop, and he was like, yo, they look like they were Armenian. So I posted 2 Armenian or Middle Eastern people, right?
Motherfuckers got at you.
And some guy DM me, respectfully, only one guy DM me, respectfully though. And he was like, hey, you should reword that because people might think you're... So I did reword it,
right?
But I didn't mean any like malice,
no,
and I obviously don't know what's going on. But he like people might think you're an agent of whatever that is. Say that again.
Azerbaijan, yeah,
right. So
it's like a little country, right next to like Turkey. We was all part of the Soviet Union before, but the history goes far. So I'll try to say it real quick. But if you heard of the Armenian Genocide, which is not Azerbaijan, but that's Turkey. So the modern day Turkey at the time, it was the.
I wanted to get into that too because I feel like a lot of people don't understand.
It's all kind of interconnected.
Okay.
So, there was an Armenian genocide in 1915, so a little more of 100 years ago, where 1.5 million Armenians were massacred by Turkey. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing about it, the reason why we still protest and still talk about it, I started this whole movement about it, right, called Open Wounds, is because to this day it hasn't been recognized as a genocide. So basically, they just got away with killing 1.5 million people.
And history looks the other way.
And history looks the other way. And, you know, if you know the definition of genocide is like the planned extermination or the systematic extermination of a specific group of people. And that's what was happening, like the Holocaust of the Jews or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So to this day, it hasn't been recognized. So there's always tension between, you know, Turkey and Armenia, and Azerbaijan is like allies with Turkey, like they're kind of brother and sister country.
Okay.
And there's other governments like the United States that still haven't recognized either. Why? Because they're allies with Turkey too. Like America, we got army bases and things like that in Turkey because they have they have a perfect like entrance into the Middle East. You know what I mean? As far as like geographically, and America don't want to lose that, so we need that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of political things behind it, obviously. But I mean, 48 or 49 individual states have recognized it. Most European countries have recognized it.
I just saw there a new state just recognized it. I think maybe Serge Tankian might have posted about it.
Oh, could be. Serge from System of a Down, he's like super, like he's a real activist.
He's
like
into this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of
System of a Down's probably my second favorite band ever.
For sure. And I kind of followed in their footsteps because we grew up on them, and they talked about the Armenian genocide and stuff in their music and stuff. And then that's kind of how I started doing that in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So going with all of that, there was always been like a tension between these countries. Now in Azerbaijan, there's a little piece of land in the middle of the country. Like all of it used to be Armenia before the genocide, first of all. You know what I'm saying? Then there's a little piece of country that's like 95% Armenian populated. But after the Soviet Union broke and everyone became independent, the Soviet Union decided to give that piece of country to Azerbaijan instead of, even though it was Armenian, that piece of land.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's been a war over that piece of land for like fucking years, decades now. But it's always like coming and going. The main issue now, these last few weeks, that it became a big thing because I guess it was a ceasefire and it's the middle of a pandemic and all that shit. But even though there was a ceasefire, they just broke it and they just attacked not only military targets but civilian targets, like out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And that was the whole thing now. Like, yo, what was happening? You know what I'm saying? So that's going on literally right now.
Going on right now.
Yeah, right now.
Damn.
You know, that part of the world is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to ask you, like, you know, I feel like, especially, you know, when you think of like Israel and Palestine, and it's almost like
it's that kind of shit.
It's like if you met someone who was Turkish, right? It's like there's automatically just like
it's pretty sad because, you know, like I said, I grew up in Amsterdam. If you know anything about Netherlands and Europe, mad Turkish people. It's mad Middle Eastern people,
right?
But predominantly in like Holland, Germany, France, Turkish people. I grew up with mad Turkish people. I had Turkish
That's
friends.
what I was going to ask you. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of like...
Personally, I did. But most Armenians, because they never really, the only thing we grew up with learning about Turkey is they're the enemy, which is, I mean, look, in a newer generation, we don't really think like that anymore. You know
I feel like that's kind of the case.
Hate.
Yeah.
We don't feed hate anymore. You know what I'm saying? We actually blame countries like Azerbaijan and them for raising their kids like we the enemy for some reason.
So that country in
general,
they
literally have that, like mad clips was going around these last few weeks of like school and people teaching. You know what I'm saying?
So in that country, they're literally indoctrinating these kids to hate Armenian people.
Right. We don't do that, I like to say, as much anymore. But inside, I mean, that tension is always there for sure.
That's crazy.
I mean, think about it. If 1.5 million people were murdered, like a lot of our grandparents, their entire families got wiped out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But no one ever paid the price. So it's like a chip on your fucking shoulder.
This was 1918, right?
1915.
1915, okay.
17 or 18.
Damn, dude. Yeah, that's crazy. I saw that there's a movie that's coming out called The Promise with Christian Bale.
Yeah. That came out a couple years ago, but it's coming out on Netflix right now.
Okay, I saw it.
Actually, it should be, but I think it's this week. It's on Netflix now.
And that's about the genocide?
That's about the Armenian Genocide, yep. That's the first time a big movie was made about it, too. We went to the premiere. Kim Kardashian was there. I got my picture.
You got your Kim picture?
You know what I'm saying? That shit went super viral. You post anything with Kim, you get mad hits for no reason.
Do you feel like the Kardashians are there for because obviously their dad was Armenian?
They are.
They are, okay.
They always speak about it. The Armenian community loves them for that, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, just using your platform, and obviously their fucking platform is so big, they talk about it a lot, all of them.
Do you feel some sort of responsibility being like someone who grew up in Amsterdam, and obviously the hip-hop community is such at least now, I feel like it's like a safe place for everybody, I guess, you know? Like,
I mean, hip-hop bring everybody together.
To try to, like, I guess as a leader of like your community, do you feel like any pressure to try to like bring people together or break down any sort of stereotypes people might have or like anything like that?
So that's a good question. Like, I feel like I always talked about these type of issues because hip hop being like the voice of the voiceless, the voice of the people, just originally as a genre, me coming in from like a new, ethnicity into the game, I had to like represent or tell the story of my people.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know. I mean, honestly, I knew based because I was like, yo, your brand, your shirt, our wounds are still open.
Still open, yeah.
That's how I figured out what was going on, and then we have some members of our staff at the station who are Armenian that kind of gave me up about the genocide, and I was like, damn, I had no fucking idea.
Yeah, that shit. I could probably say like it did a lot of damage because I just did one song about it. I always say it's really a song about crimes against humanity, but specifically, I'm talking about the Armenian Genocide. It's called Open Wounds. And then we did these T-shirts, you know what I'm saying, with the Our Wounds Are Still Open. It just says Our Wounds Are Still Open, 1915. And, we just did that to, like, I wore it in a video, and we had a few printed. It wasn't, like, a thing we thought of, you know what I mean? But then everyone started asking about those T-shirts, and every time I was wearing it, every single day, someone would stop me and say, yo, what does that mean? For some reason, it's really, like, a dope design, and it catches people's attention. And we realized like, yo, this is like a tool to like raise awareness and educate people. Kind of in a way never been done. It's kind of like a dope, fresh, new way using hip hop and fashion. So then we started printing those shirts and giving them to as many influencers as we could.
Yeah, man.
And like Game was definitely the first person. I mean, he lived in Glendale too. So
I was gonna say Game used to live in Glendale.
Yeah,
right?
So he been around Armenians, so he knew the struggle and he knew, so he embraced it right away. He posted it and then he jumped on a remix of the song. You know what I mean?
Fire.
Shout out to Game. But then after that, so many people, we got Cardi, we got Post, we got Method Man wearing it, we got
Is there
DMX,
any,
we got...
As far as what's going on in your country right now, is there any way people can like, I guess I don't know, is there any sort of way like people can help or...
Yeah, for sure.
Just spread awareness?
I always say there's like two ways you can help. Obviously, spread awareness. Like we'd love for other, races and people.
I never even heard of that other country. That's what's crazy.
Right.
I never. It must be very small.
It's a small country. I mean, Armenia being small, I think Azerbaijan's even smaller, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So it's a super small country.
And it sucks because you guys are from the same part of the like.
The main thing about Armenians is we originally Christian, right? Mm-hmm. Armenians are actually the first Christian nation in the whole world, like officially adopted Christianity and like the year 301. You know what I mean? Like the first Christian nation in the world. everyone surrounding it is like pretty extreme Muslim. It's Iran, it's Turkey. So it's always been
religion,
through
man.
history. It's always been a religious thing. Yeah.
Religion is a motherfucker, ain't it?
Sure.
That shit is crazy to think like that is like the.
It's crazy that's probably the reason of the most wars. And
I think at the root of them, probably all
of them,
like every single war.
That's wild, right?
There's religion wrapped up in there somewhere.
That's fucking wild.
It's fucking